Alright, you masters, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today we're going in the fields and trying to look for plants that we can eat. It's late winter, so it's going to be harder to find edible plants, but for as well as bug-in situations as bug-out scenarios, this could be a handy way to see that there is always some sorts of nutritions and foods around in your neighborhood or in the fields when you are probably going to bug out. But before we do that, if you're interested in detective stories, in the description will be a link to my first book. It's called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch, and if you're interested, I would say take a look. So let's see what plants we can find to find some nutritional value and calories, perhaps. So we got our first candidate, and it is excuse me if I don't know the English name for these plants, but it's so this will be more for the Dutch speaking persons, and also because these plants grow in this area, in this kind of area. So as you can see, these are the braamstruiken, and yeah, we all know these because they can grow black and red kind of berries, frambozen, braambessen on it. And yeah, these are nutritional and contain sugar, which can give calories if you're on a bug out, if they would grow on this, because this is now late spring, but if you find them. And also the leaves you are also medicinal. So if you have a little bit more greener leaves, these are still a little bit green, yeah, here like this is a more green leaf. If you put them in your mouth, if you have a wound in your mouth, that could get infected if you eat something that is not cooked very well. So if you have a wound in your mouth, take one of these green leaves and of course without the thorns on it, and start to munch on it, so that that it can mix with the wound and it will start to help healing the wound. So that's another thing that you can do with this. We're going to the next one. So we got several oak trees around here, and as you probably know, the oak trees has some yeah, of course, eccles, oaks, I guess it's the English name, and these contain some a little bit calories, but I would say you have to always roast them before you eat them, in case there are some pathogens, parasites, or some fungus on top of it, especially here in late winter, because they have fallen. Some insects gotten into first. They've been there perhaps a longer time. Perhaps some fungus started to grow in it. So I would say always roast or boil them before you eat them. And yeah, that's also a good source if you find some fresh ones, of course, during your bug out. And you can ground these into, if you ground them, you can make a substitute coffee with them. And another fun thing about this is, you know, the hats that they have, you can use them as a whistle in case of an emergency. So that's a little fun fact about these. So yeah, oak trees are a very good source of calories during your bug out. Alright, this is a plant that you will probably find a lot here, especially here in Belgium, and that is the stinging nettle. Yeah, we all know the stinging nettle. These plants are actually very useful for several reasons. I already made a video about how you can use the stengels of a stinging nettle and turn them into rope. So I would advise you to watch that video. It's very handy to know how to do that, and it's a very easy process. And of course, stinging nettles, you can make soup out of them, you can make tea out of them. It will taste like shit, so always put some other herbs together with them to give it more taste. And it contains vitamins and a lot of iron. So yeah, this is a good plant as a sort of substitute during your bug out, or if you want to make if you want some more fibers and some vitamins and nutritional value into your own dish during a bug in scenario. Of course, first boil the leaves before you're going to if you're going to eat them, because otherwise, if you boil them, then the stinging needles will be boiled out of the plant. So stinging nettles are a very good survival plant that is often underestimated. Alright, We got some clovers around here, and yeah, clovers are not that nutritional, but they contain nutritionals, and if you want to make a soup of a bouillon, you can put them into it, or for extra fibers you can put them between mix them within survival bread or something that you bake. So yeah, clovers are not that nutritional, but they contain something at least, and contain fibers that will drive away the hunger feeling if you mix them with soups, bouillons, or something that you baked. So these are actually worth it to take them. These are not really wild plants, but this is an example of corn that is still left over from harvest. So if the harvest just happened, it's possible that you will find things that are corn or some other plants, nutritional plants that fell off from the trucks, the tractors, or are left over in the fields where they plowed. So and got a harvest from. So these things are perhaps worthwhile if you walk through agricultural fields to find some nutritional plants that are left over from the harvest. So that is also something worth watching for during a bug out, or even during a bug in when times are very scarce. So I will hope that you will hear this because it's kind of windy. There is a sparrenboom, like you can see. It is not a pine tree, but I don't know the English name of it. But with these green needles you can make a tea, and these contain a lot of vitamin C. And the pine cones from a sparrenboom, I do not really know if they are that edible, but there is something that you can find them that are actually contain calories and proteins. As you can see, I broke up this pine cone, and you see this little fella that is getting out of it. Well, these are the larvae of insects that lay their eggs inside of these cones. And yeah, these you can break them open and probably get them, and you will get a little bit of proteins. I do not say that you will find many of them, but it's better than nothing. And yeah, as you can see, this is actually already a big larvae. And yeah, this is also a way to get proteins from edible plants by looking for the insects that will get into them. Like I said before, with the oak trees and perhaps in the birch, you probably will find some insects that will leg their larvae inside of them. So yeah, the vitamin C and a few proteins from insects larvae in these sparrenboom. So this is another example of leftovers from the harvest that you can find even here in late winter. We got two kind of plants around here. We got leeks. So yeah, with these you can get a lot of vitamins and nutritional value, and give some taste to your soups. So that's already a good thing. And we got something like even this big thing like cabbage that is left over. Yeah, cabbage contains some calories, and yeah, you can make some soups out of it, and you can boil it. And yeah, this big chunk is still left over. I still see a dozen of them. So if I was on a bug out, this would be like a jackpot. Of course, you have to boil everything before you're going to eat them, because there is a reason why they won't take it. But you get some extra nutritional values from these kind of leftovers from the cabbage and the leeks that are still over. So yeah, I would say that's one of the jackpots. And during a survival situation, these will be picked clean. So you got to be early with them when people are desperate. So yeah, you got to do with the things that you can find and have. It's because I live in a countryside where there is a lot of agricultural. So yeah, there's not really a video about wild edible plants, but it is worthwhile for. So we see here a leek that is growing solitary in this giant field on the side of the road. So that's another thing that you can discover by just pure luck. Sometimes during harvest, the seeds or something else will fall off the truck, get on the side of the road, and some plants can grow on places where you would not expect to. If you have a keen eye and you look for around, you will find sometimes an unusual plant, nutritional plant from that you will not expect at certain places. So that's something that you can also, that you need to keep an eye out for, plants that have grown because they fall there by accident, not only by perhaps seeds or some plants that fall from the truck, but also because birds take them. Perhaps some seeds will be stuck on their legs, they get somewhere else, land somewhere, and it falls off their legs and will start to grow there by accident. So yeah, that's something that you also need to watch out for. Even in a place where you will not expect it, you can find the treasure now and then, to say. So that's a good little tip during your bug out or even during a bug in scenario. So that is another thing where you can find some perhaps some proteins. I know this will not look that good, but or some calories, but if you look very closely, you can see seeds between all of these things. So if you are on the bug out and you start picking the seeds from these, sometimes they dump stuff that they won't need, or like a compost heap or something like that, and you can see out of some places things out of the seeds, they will start to sprout, so they're still good to eat. And these seeds can contain a few little bit oils and a few little bit calories that way. So if you are able to pick them and they are still good, these are then a good source of extra fats, oils and calories. And a beneficial thing about these compost heaps that they throw away is sometimes they will draw insects, and these insects can be gathered for some extra proteins. Of course, boil them first before you eat them, because you don't want to get parasites, a disease, or some other nasty pathogen that will cause an infection. But it is a possible thing to do. So another way to get food during a bug out scenario. I do not condone this, because this is something that you will only do if you're really desperate. But this is a piece of land with some sheep on it, and yeah, you do not want to steal food from other people. Another thing that is more, if you're really desperate, these sheep get fed with old bread. As you see, it is a basket that they use to feed them old breads, and some bakeries will drop their old bread there to help other people. So if you're really desperate, you can get some of the old bread instead of slaughtering a sheep that is the livelihood of somebody else. So yeah, it's a hard choice to make sometimes, but I would always say try to do something else before you go stealing or even butchering somebody else's livestock. But yeah, sometimes people get desperate. Alright, that is something that not a lot of people will know, but if you look closely, you will see that there is a fungus kind of growing on these trees. It's all over the tree right now, and there is these fungus are actually edible, but you got to be very careful, because there is a white fungus and there is a yellow fungus. And to be honest, I don't remember anymore which of the two colors is edible, so look it up, be very careful. But it's something that could be saving your life someday during a survival situation. So that's something that I did not know till recently, and I'm still training to how to identify these. And as you can see, even when I'm doubting that is something, if something is edible or not, don't eat it if you have doubts over. Only eat it if you're certain, if you're really certain about it, that that it is edible and will not kill you or make you sick. Now we have, I think these are crossberries growing, but I'm not sure about it, because the leaves are shiny and that's usually not a good sign. That's an indication that they might be poisonous, so I will not eat them with it. And this is yet again, like I said, if you're not sure about whether something is poisonous or not, do not eat from it, even if you're desperate. Because if you're desperate and you will throw out the food that you still have left in your stomach, then you will die even faster. So yeah, I would say this is also the reason why I like to do these excursions and trying to look up information about it, because I want to learn to find food during a bug out scenario, so I can be less dependent on other people to get some calories and nutritionals inside of my body. So that is a part that is actually very handy for hunting, it seems, because you will probably not see it, but over there I saw three deers walking around, and there's a lot of water in nearby. There's a lot of grass, so yeah, it can be worth it if you're with a group to hunt them. Make a plan, set up a trap where you can ambush them, or keep hunting them till they are weak or sleepy, like people historical in the prehistorical era did. And it will be worth it because the food that you will get from catching one deer could be for a few people be weeks worth of meat that you can get. Of course, you have to stay and dry the food or smoke it, but yeah, there are only 3 tiers or so, and yeah, they need a lot of area to live in, so this will be very rare. And during a survival situation, you can bet those 3 tiers will already be depleted. So if you get a chance, it's a good chance to get some extra meat. If you find some wild deer to, yeah, to hunt them for, if you got a very long bug out route. And another thing is that I saw is this high grass is close by to a field, and it is actually a perfect area for rabbits and hazes. I spotted a few around here. These are very hard to catch, so you will be either looking for a place to ambush them, but that will take a lot of time, and there is less chance of succeeding. So hunting rabbits, you will probably have more chance by putting up a snare in a place where they will likely pass, or close by where there is water, or a place where they usually cross over. Like there is a little bit higher walking area, so the best way to the more chance you will get by putting up snares or some other traps is by the lower place where they would cross over to get into another area. So yeah, that's another thing you can do, but it will take more time, more energy, and especially for rabbits, the nutritional value, especially caloric, is not that handy, because if you many people will not know this, but if you eat only rabbits as a food source, you will starve, because they don't have the oils, the fats, and the calories to feed a human body. So a lot of people who only ate rabbit because that was the main source around have literally starved to death. Even their bellies were full of rabbit meat. So that's something that you will need to take in account. All right, so yeah. Alright, another food source that you could think of during late winter is we are next to a river, and there are some fishing spots, but I don't know if late winter is the best time to fish. But perhaps if you got the right bait, they will catch for it, because food will be scarce for the fishes too. And if it's not the fishes that you will eat, you will probably be able to find some ducks or some other birds that you can hunt if you got a pellet rifle, air gun, bow, or just a regular hunting rifle. So that's another food source you can have during late winter. So another food source that is possible to use is, as you can see, this garbage can. And yeah, I know what you say, but it's garbage. But a lot of people, like for example the backpack people in the Philippines, they live actually off the garbage that more wealthier people throw away. So if there is any thing edible inside of it, even if it's a piece of meat or something, cook it really good, that no pathogens or parasites are alive inside of it, or insects. And yeah, that might be a little bit of a food source, especially in a crowded area, or in a more wealthy area, I would say, because wealthy people are more likely to throw food away even during a survival situation. So that's another food source, not a good one, but it is nonetheless a possible food source. So I got back from the bug out exercise, and yeah, this is just a regular walk that I do in my neighborhoods from time to time, and it's just a little exercise in how to look at your area and just not go strolling around and not thinking about anything. It's about seeing just a regular walk as an exercise to find food sources, ways of food, try to improvise, try to get knowledge, think try to think outside of the box. And yeah, these were a few examples during this route on my walk. And everybody, I would advise for everyone else to do the same thing. Go in your area, explore your area, try to think of food sources in case that you need them, and that way will be a valuable asset and piece of knowledge in your survival. So if you also, I would say thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.